Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Brand podcast. My name is Curtis and I'm the host. And today we've got a brand new business with us. We have Stephen from A Dugz Life. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, boys? How are you?
All right, mate.
Aye, all good, all good.
Busy day.
It has been, aye. Been ran off my feet since about 6 o'clock this morning, so...
Literally ran off your feet, just chasing after ducks.
Constant, mate, constant. I love it, honestly. Couldn't have it any other way.
Oh, I love it, mate. Well, it keeps you going. That's the main thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So Stephen is the owner of A Dugz Life, which is a dog walking service and a behavioural
training.
So why don't, before we get into the nitty gritty and we find out about you, would you be all right with introducing yourself?
Aye. So my name's Stephen, Stephen Logan, and I'm an ex-army boy who started A Dugz Life because I found that working with animals and things like that in general was very therapeutic and things. And I found that working with most people wasn't. So I started up my own business. I was working with various companies and charities and things like that, and different kennels and stuff, and I seen where they were all going wrong and just be missing kind of links.
You just
and stuff.
pick the wee bits out of them.
Aye, and I was like, do you know, I'm seeing where there's like missing links here, where they're going wrong, and things that I wanted to do with it, and just advance the kind of industry in that sense.
Yep.
So I studied canine psychology, and it actually helped with my own kind of issues and my own problems, because there's not really a lot of difference between us and animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
we're all very emotional based led, aren't we?
Absolutely. I mean, like animals and dogs in general live in the moment. We kind of dwell on things and imagine things and all the rest of it. And if we could kind of drop that part, and just live the way it is just now, it would actually like get on a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same. It's like dogs will kind of just give you a gribble where it's enough. You know what I mean? Why bite when a gribble's just enough? Do you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. What you see is what you get with an animal. Most people, you don't really know what's going on behind the eyes and stuff. So I kind of studied canine psychology. Like I said, it helped with my own stuff. And I ended up kind of met a good lady who I've been with for the last 10 years. And we started my own business when we bought our own house and just expanded the business for there. So I've been running now for the past... This is me getting into my second year now, so they say that every business is, has got its pitfalls and all that, and if you can survive the first 2 to 3 years, then you're laughing. So I'm still standing, I'm still going, so
And still having fun.
I'm still having fun, loving it, absolutely loving it. Every day is a challenge, and that's part and parcel of what I need that way. I think if every day was the same, it just becomes so monotonous and boring, innit? So that's why I love this job. It's just always been...
It's keeping you on your toes, which is the main thing, and keeping you obviously still disciplined with everything that you're doing, especially with your army background and stuff you were saying. So, you know what I mean? When you're looking after somebody's dog and things like that, that's really obviously important to you, and they're entrusting you with their dog.
I go above and beyond as well when it comes to the whole trust factor as well, because I found that when it came to even with my own animals, we find it like your furry child, so to speak.
Aye. We always hear it, innit? Your fur baby.
It's your fur baby, exactly. Your fur Wayne. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That unconditional love that your Wayne gives you, but just that bit extra because it's an animal in that sense. But it's crazy. But I always try and tell people that there's it might be your furry Wayne, but you need to remember it's still a dog. It's still a canine. Do you know what I mean? It's still a dog's life. It's going to be a dog now. Foremost in general, you can't babyfy it, because as soon as you start doing that, you're actually causing a lot of problems and a lot of kind of behaviours that you don't really want. I mean, like, major thing going on in the news, all this stuff with the XL bullies and stuff.
Do you know, we were actually discussing that in the car on the way over here, just because obviously we were talking about this podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the things I had in the back of my head was obviously the XL bullies. Now we were talking about it such. I don't really know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any dogs. I don't have any cats. I don't have any pets.
Yeah.
But I'm quite naive when it comes to what it is.
So the ban with this XL bully, they've tried it for years when it came to all different breeds in general. They blamed like Alsatians, they blamed Rottweilers, they blamed Pit Bulls, Doberman, you name it. Do you know what I mean? Every time they always blame the wrong side of the lead. You know, it's like it's the owner. It's all down to how it's raised. In the same way of a child.
Literally word for word what I
it's
said.
the exact same as Owain. The exact same as Owain. I mean, Owain would never know what a chocolate bar was if you never gave it. Do you know what I mean? They'd never know what a swear word was unless they've heard it or picked it up from somewhere else. They look to us for guidance, and if you can't guide them in the right direction, then they're going to start acting up. So you've got to kind of, point them in the right way. And I've always tended to be, I mean, even for a right young age. So I was a bit of a boy back in the day when I was young. You know what I mean? Aye. You know, it's like growing up in Glasgow, innit? It's one of the things, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
Bollock, but I think I'm probably the only person that was there, lad.
You know what it's like, and it was one of the things. Well, I was North End of Glasgow, right, Springburn and all that. So it was like, it was crazy out there at one point. It was like the Wild West. It was madness, and I think it was like there was always a scheme dog and all the rest of it, wasn't it? There was always a dog running about.
We always see that. That's so interesting you say that as well, because I always feel like that. See, when you've got like a certain part of a scheme, you always see a certain type of dog.
Aye.
And I think
that's
a
pit or
and I think everybody always panics and terrifies that this thing's going to bite its face off or somebody, and you're just let off.
Aye, anyway, and this is the thing, like, there's never been a bad dog. It's the situation that it's in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. It's the exact same thing. They strike out through whatever kind of things have reacted from. So I don't see bad dogs. I just see problems that need sorted and are easily fixed. And I see an issue when it comes to how the government are going about trying to fix this. It should be, I mean, there's more rules and regulations there having a telly than what there is having a dog or even a Wayne. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many times have we walked down the road and you've looked at somebody, a junkie, whatever, and you've went, fucking hell, you're pushing a pram or whatever? Pardon my French there, guys, pardon my French.
No, you're fine. It's an adult program, don't worry. Adult program.
Aye, that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, dogs are dogs. What you see is what you get. And like I say, people they can dwell and, hide things behind lying eyes and stuff, whereas a dog won't. It'll just tell you straight.
So for you then, what does a typical day look like in a dog's life? What does that look like for you?
So I have two animals of my own. I've got a Siberian Husky who's 2. So he's like a teenager now, so he's that pushing the boundary age, anti-screw crew head type kind of age that he is, which is brilliant. I love the Huskies, they're so aloof. They're not like typical dogs, they're more kind of cat-like in the way of it. They're very stubborn-minded, do their own thing, and I love that. I love a challenge. And then I've got a Frenchie who's 9. That wasn't through choice. That was the missus' choice. What can I say? But
I'd be back in a dog.
Aye. It was. I grew to love him. Do you know what I mean? I love him to bits now. And to be fair, Buster thinks he's an actual husky because he grew up with my last husky. So he's the ruler of the house in that sense.
Must be good in the sense of having like one big dog and one kind of wee dog as well.
Aye, but now I need a miniature one to kind of complete the set, or a bigger one.
A wee Maltipoo or something like that.
Aye. Well, I was actually looking after one of my mates' dogs there, a wee dachshund miniature, long-haired dachshund, and it was comical as hell. I mean,
I think you like the dachshunds, Rebecca, if I'm right.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant. Honestly, this thing just looks like a wee miniature kind of golden retriever. Constantly, it looks like a pup that way. It's just, it's beautiful. Honestly, I'll show you pictures in a wee bit. She's absolutely stunning. Oh, she's beautiful. But I mean, I'm that type of guy where, like, you've heard of the old woman with hundreds of cats. Well, I'd be that stereotypical old guy with just an island and thousands of dogs.
A big farm with hundreds of dogs.
And that's me, aye. I mean, I've done hunting, I've done thousands of jobs that I've done everything from shoveling crap to log burning stoves, security, you name it, do you know what I mean? So I've done the worst of the worst jobs, and then I was like, do you know what? What am I doing, man? I'm 40 now, do you know what I mean? And I never kicked that ball years ago, and that's what I'm saying, guys. See, if you have get it in your head that you want to do something, you've got a dream and ambition, go for it. Just do it.
Yep.
Kick the ball now, because time's ticking.
Do you feel like this is your purpose? Like you feel like you've found your purpose?
Absolutely, well and truly. Aye, it's a job that I've always had a passion for. Like I said, I was always that. Like, and as a wee and growing up and all that, like my pals were always away getting mad weight and all that, and you know what it's like getting in kitchens and all that. You'd be all sitting in the kitchen, everybody's doing whatever they were doing, and I'd be like sitting in the dog bed playing with the staffy, or do you know what I mean? Things like that.
That one guy at a party, wasn't there?
Aye, that was me. That was me. I was that other guy at the party, playing with the dog. You know what I mean? In the corner. Stevie, get away from the dogs, man. Aye, they call me the sun pack kid, man, in some circles, but that's another story. What can I say?
Oh, bro.
No, I've got a sense of humour. If you don't, then you're scunnered, innit? That's the thing. Life's too short not to have a sense of humour nowadays.
100%.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a PC world went mad.
So what for you then, like as we're saying, a kind of typical day?
Typical day.
So like what would a day with you, with your clients, like your obviously your people that you work for?
Basically I do various, so I do walks with some clients who don't need any training and things like that, which is brilliant. So it's just out and about having a casual saunter with some dogs, you know, loving life, flinging a ball about, living the absolute dream.
Do you always go to the same place, or is it just you just
no,
kind of
vary it up. See, the thing is, like, I always believe that it's the same as ourselves. If you're in a job 9 to 5 that you know you've been doing for years upon years, the same thing all the time, you get bored with it, and so do they. You need to mentally stimulate them as well as physically stimulate them. And I like doing a bit of both, so I like trying like new tricks with them and things like that, and you know, trying new kind of like scent work or hiding things or whatever else, you know, a lot of climbing work and agility work and things like that as well. So I'll take them all different places, so not only just going to like your fields and forests and things like that, but going to built up places. See, like into Harrington and all that, where there's a lot of kind of like heavy traffic, lorries, all the rest of it. Desensitisation is a major thing, and you should be doing that from a very, very young age as well, like going to bus depots, train stations, etc.
Yep.
You know, because it's all the best to have that well-balanced dog, and that's why I started my business as well, was because I seen that there were a lot of behaviourists and trainers out there whose prices as well were sky high. I mean, absolute sky high for what they're charging per hour.
Owning a dog in particular is
it's extortionate.
Vet bills and stuff like that. I mean, our friend's dog had basically taken not well. I think it was meningitis or something it got, and the vet bill that they let me know, but I was like, that is unreal.
Oh, listen, it's crazy.
And that was them just missed out because I think they just renewed their insurance. And then it was literally like a day or two later.
Aye.
And obviously it doesn't kick in at least till a week or whatever it is.
So my last husky, Ollie, God rest his soul, he passed when he was 14 with arthritis and stuff. Hardest decision you ever have to make is having to get your pet put down, like it genuinely is. But quality of life is what you need to think about at the end of the day. But he snapped a cartilage in his spine. It was on the fields just along at the road, and he was playing with a wee kind of cavapoo thing, and I just bought the missus the Frenchie actually, so the Frenchie was only like 3-4 months or something, so I turned to see what he was doing. He's playing with a big lab, turned back and there's Ollie on the flare, just decked it. He turned too quick and snapped the cartilage in his spine. So I had literally just moved from my flat into my missus' flat at the time, and when I phoned the insurance and stuff like that to get it all sorted, I hadn't changed my address, and it was literally like a week, and they said my insurance was null and void and all the rest of it. So that was me, like, best part of $9,500 to fix this, you know, my baby. At the end of the day, my foreign baby.
That's the thing as well. People will go above and beyond for.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was a big viral TikTok thing. Some guy, I can't remember his name, is it Sean or something like that? I'm not too.
Oh, was that?
Too sure. And I think his poor dog ended up passing.
No.
But the guy's massive on TikTok, and I think it was a case that he basically put out a plea, and the vet bill was
phenomenal.
Oh, it was unreal, and I can totally appreciate why. Just a normal guy will not have the money to pay that.
True, aye.
And I think they'd raised so much money, but before they could do the thing or whatever it was, the poor dog passed. But he received a lot of backlash for that, and I think gave everybody their money back. He gave it all back. So I'm like, and
so he wasn't a con artist.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's a well-known person or whatever, and I'm just like, just even at that, you know what I mean? It doesn't even matter who you are or what you are. It's
I mean, circumstances can affect anybody. Do you know what I mean? That's how, again, like when it comes down to what we were saying previously about like judging a book by its cover and things. I mean, you can never kind of look down upon somebody that way at all. I mean, I actually can judge a lot by a person by how they are with an animal or how they treat others in general. You know, even like when you go to a restaurant or whatever, how somebody is with the staff and things, you know, you can judge a lot by how they are with
it. My bonnet, people speaking.
Oh, genuinely, it gets right underneath your skin, doesn't it? It genuinely boils your blood to the point you're like, oh, I could bite your nose off. Aye, oh, God, man. Like, oh, it genuinely boils the blood.
Aye.
It is. I mean, it's like manners costing nothing.
No, they don't.
Absolutely nothing.
They don't.
Do you know what I mean? So it's always been a thing that way. I mean, that was another reason why I kind of started my business as well, is because every place I worked, I noticed way too much. Way too much. Like, oh, see if you pulled your finger out, and you know, and we'd be finished like an hour earlier. If you done this and that, you know, this
try
would
to
get
do the
done.
Shortcuts and the cut the corners.
Instead of just, you know what I mean? And it's like, come on, troops, you know, we're only as strong as your weakest link type number. Do you know what I mean? Everybody pull your weight. I've always been that type of guy, and if nobody is, then it just doesn't work for me. And that's the thing with, I think, coming from military into civilian street as well, is the whole adaptation going from that to this is very difficult. I found it really difficult anyway. Hence why, you know, I mean, I was going in and out of jail and all sorts, you know what I mean? That was why I was like, I need to do something here. I've got to sort myself out, because I was going to either end up in a box somewhere, either a cell or a coffin, do you know what I mean? So
another statistic or something.
Pretty much. Do you know what I mean? I was on the street and stuff for a while as well, do you know what I mean? So I've had a roller coaster.
I was going to say, it sounds like you've been through it all, to be fair.
Aye. I mean, I've been told I should write a book, man, genuinely. But who would read that garbage, in fairness? Do you know what I mean?
You never know, mate. There's people out there probably in the same position.
Not for me, man.
Just get somebody else to do it for you.
I've never been one of the typers and all that.
You did it all like this, right? And we'll send it to them, and then that's it. They'll write it.
You type away. But if there's somebody out there that wants to do it, wire in there.
Stephen's looking for an autobiographist, so if that's what you call yourself.
Whatever I call.
There you go.
But it's always been one of them, just, you know, live and let live, innit? Do you know what I mean? Life's too short to have kind of any bad thoughts or mal thoughts about people or about anything in general. Do you know what I mean? I always see things as like, if you've got a grudge against somebody or anything like that, it's like you swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die. It's just stupid. It's just pure stupid, isn't it, really? Let's face it.
Don't even know what to say about that, to be fair. But yeah. I think obviously, like with the services and stuff that you offer, we'll go back to business and stuff. No, sorry, don't worry. We'll go back to A Dugz Life.
Yeah.
So you do offer the walking.
So I offer walking, and I offer training services as well. So I can do any type of training, from heel work to separation anxiety. I mean, like I said, I studied the canine psychology, so it's like pretty much any kind of work that you're wanting or any kind of behaviour that you want kind of trained into your dog, I can do it. It's anything for a well balanced.
And where would you tend to do that? Would that be like, would you have a one-to-one with you, just the dog, or would you do it with the owners?
I tend to go in and do an assessment to begin with. So I could 9 out of 10 times it's not actually the dog that the issue is coming from. It's normally the person. They're not like reading up on the right kind of wee signs that the dog's like letting off, you know, or they're just not paying attention in general, or they're overcomplicating things, which is what humans do a lot, let's face it. We have done. You tend to be too close to something, you can't see the problem for it. You can't see the forest for the trees type number. So I'll go in, I'll do an assessment, and then we'll kind of plan out a plan of action from there. and then I'll obviously do it from an internal basis, i.e. in the house and things like that, as well as outdoors. And then we work on the issues that I've found and any issues that they think are above it or under that as well.
So you're building that relationship then with
with both client
the owner
and the animal as well. Yeah.
I find a lot of people have that in kind of anxiety separation thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the I see it a lot with owners and stuff, you know what I mean, being very like, oh, my dog won't leave me alone and whatever, but you don't really see that that's actually from yourself, you know what I mean? Nah. I think everybody went through COVID there where everybody had all the time in the world to be in the house and whatever, and everybody get dogs, and then as soon as lockdown opened up, that was it, everybody back to work.
It caused, I mean, see, in fairness, it actually done favours, like wonders for my business, and that's
as it would, of course. Of course.
Not to sound like bad in that way, do you know what I mean? Because it done wonders, because now like there's a lot of dogs with separation anxiety and things like that you know I can work on in that way, which is brilliant. Not for the animals, obviously, but it's brilliant because it drums in more business.
No, I totally get what you mean. You're not meaning it in a sense that you're like, yes, all the business and that. You're like, right, it's good because now you can actually showcase what your business does,
what the capabilities are,
and you can actually help people with their dogs and things like that. It's
we had a dog that came. It was a client who actually travelled over from Canada with a whippet. And the whippet, it's like a kind of small greyhound looking style dog. They're absolutely stunning, but they're just very frail looking, you know. But they're beautiful, beautiful dogs, just fast as anything. They're for like coursing and things, rabbiting and
the racetrack kind of dogs.
Yeah. So they brought her over from Canada, and she was coming over here to stay in the Highlands. And then while they brought her over, the dog was in a crate that was like the size of, from me to you, you know, travel crate on wheels and stuff. And they lost that crate in transit for over 48 hours. So that dog was just...
They lost the dog?
Aye, they lost the full crate. I mean, how can you lose something this big? Do you know what I mean? With a dog in it. I don't know how, guys, right? But they did. So eventually she got the dog back. But that dog ended up with a lot of separation anxiety and stuff from that, and I had to kind of work on that as well. And it's
everything must have been terrified.
It was genuinely. She wouldn't get in a crate. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't leave her owner's side or nothing. She was just peeing everywhere, and it was a crying shame. And then when she was leaving her in the house and stuff, she was going mental. But we kind of worked on it, and now she's honestly the best wee thing you could ever ask for. Aye, she's loving life. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely loving life. She can go to work and come back, and she's perfectly fine. Do you know what I mean? Not done anything in the house. She's not howled the place down. No.
So kind of doing that psychology then, kind of idea. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. Like I said, I've always had that kind of thing. Like I tend to give off. I think like people give off vibrations, and my vibrations that I give off must be different from everyone else's rate, because I tend to like attract animals and wains that way, you know, which is weird. They just all kind of like navigate to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like the pipe.
Probably have that wee presence. You know what I mean? They find calming and
and the same. They all back carry on and wrestle and fight and all the rest of it with me and all. You know what I mean? Because I think the whole thing is like us guys just never grow up in it. We're always that Peter Pan kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just don't grow up in it. We don't. Do you know what I mean? We just get bigger toys kind of thing. That's all. That's all it is. But it's always been that way for me. I've just always kind of tended to gravitate with the animals and all the rest of it that way. So gone back to like the whole stuff with the business. It's always been about me, myself. It's always been about building a business that I can see that's obviously sustainable for myself. It's a legacy that I can hand over to like my children and things like that. I've always wanted something that I can go, here you go, Ian, you can take the reins now type of number, no just handing her a house or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's something else if they want to in that way. And the same that I've always tried to have an ethos of a business that would be approachable and affordable for a lot of people.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of companies out there that, like I say, behaviourists and stuff that are charging through the roof, which doesn't make it approachable for the average Joe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, too right. Especially in today's climate with recession and inflation and things like that.
The living cost just now is absolutely crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. I mean, how much is a Freddo now? You need to remortgage your house. Do you know what I mean?
I love nothing more when people say that, how they used to be with 5p or whatever. I know it's like £1.20 or whatever.
You remortgage the house and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? Away up the barras and punt whatever for it. Nah, man, you're all right.
Nobody at the barras and donks, to be fair.
Oh, no. I remember the Brigate. That's gone back.
The Brigate. To be fair,
I used to get all the barras were better, but still.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, aye, but Glasgow always had character. And that's how I always like. I think that don't let that Glasgow character leave you, and that's how I've always kind of tried to cling on to that and still use that. A lot of people hear me and go, "Oh no, he's just this wee Ned," and I'm like, "Whoa, hold on, I'm actually an educated delinquent." I would have called, I would have called you an ambulance after I'd done you in, do you know what I mean? It was one of the ones, I was actually okay, you know, but it's the yin and yang number, innit?
Yeah,
do you know
that's
what
it,
I mean?
mate.
That's what it's about. But I've always tried to be a kind of, you know, wear the heart on the sleeve and be a good guy that way. Doing to others what you want done to yourself.
And what's your favourite part of your job and your business? I mean, it could be a memory that you've had for the 2 years you've been doing it, or it could be something you do on a daily.
The favourite part is meeting new clients, new dogs, new problems that I need to try and solve, because I love a challenge. I mean, like, if my job is boring, the thing is, like, if my job was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? I'm not going to say that it's the easiest job on the planet, because there's a few that, God, man, you're bouncing your head off a table at times, and you're like, what the hell is happening here? I mean, this isn't how it's supposed to be. What's happened here? Do you know what I mean? And you've went through every single thing in the book, you're pulling out all the new tricks and all the rest of it, and you're going, how's this not working? Some dogs are just like that and wired different, and that's what I love about this job. It's like, it's always a progression. There's always something new, something challenging you in a different way. And like I said, I just love meeting new animals, new dogs in general. I genuinely do. But the downside of it as well is that, I mean, there's been a few that I've went to and I've been like, God, this dog's abused. Oh my God,
that'd be the horrible part.
This house is an absolute riot. Like, there's,
and you never know how somebody's
lying
going to take
everywhere.
that.
It's like, God. I mean, you can't obviously names and all the rest. Guys say nothing unwell in the plate stay and all the rest of it. But like, there was one house I went into, and the house was, honest to God, I was having to like kick stuff out the way to get in the house and that. And just come in and sit down.
Where's your couch?
Where? Like, where will I perch? Like,
Do you know what? And I always feel for the wee dogs and cats and stuff like that have to deal with that. Like, obviously they'll not know any different.
The thing is, every animal, or every dog, every animal in general deserves a human, right? Mm-hmm. But every human does not deserve an animal, and that's the whole thing that it boils back to. And that's where it comes to like our laws and legislations and things like that, talking about the XL bullies and things like that also. It's crazy. We shouldn't be doing it this way. It's so like dystopian in the way that we do things. Like, we also, that breed's bitten more people. Like, that's total and utter BS, by the way. I've actually had more bites off of a dash hound than what I've had off of like these XL bullies, Rottweilers or whatever else. I swear down dead, collies, Labradors. Mm-hmm. I've had more bites off of they kind of dogs than what I've had off of these big monster dogs that they're calling these. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Stop blaming the dog. Start blaming the owners. Bring it back to where there's a license, where you need to have a license to have this animal. Mm-hmm. And if you, and, you know, actually have punishment for them also.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, you do wrong by an animal, you're banned for ever having an animal ever again. And, you know, there's a hefty fine and everything else. There's going to be consequences. Mm-hmm. And this is where the problem lies. There's none for it at all. And that's why all these breeds are getting such bad kind of reputations, and it's because of the people that have them that are showcasing or highlighting issues with these dogs, which is crazy. It's not right. It's not right at all.
It's
man.
not right. And the poor
But what
poor dog only does. That's it. Poor dog only does what it's taught or sees or feels in that environment and stuff like that as well. So I agree with you that it should come down to a licensing sort of thing. And I think that with any dog. Because I would hate to think that I've never had dogs as such. I've actually been terrified of dogs growing up.
Serious?
In the past few years I've become quite more relaxed with them. Yeah.
Aye.
Don't know, bigger, older, you know what I mean? I'm like that. And we had a cat for about 17 years. She sadly passed, not last year, but the year before, I believe. I can't mind, I think it was 2022.
Cats are totally different.
I know. I wouldn't want to ask any questions.
See, no, the thing is, see with cats, right, see, I don't mind them, right, but they freak me out at times because one minute they can be perfectly fine. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then,
I got right there.
What happened there, man? It's why I gouge your eyes out. Know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Oh, no. But it is true. It's like they're too unpredictable that way. Do you know what I mean? They're like, I was too.
I was just getting flashbacks from my cat because she used to do stuff
the
like
same
that.
thing.
Aye, she was so unpredictable. But I tell you what, if I could bring her back, I would.
We would. Aye, this is the thing. I mean, the animals in general are the purest of souls, and the same with kids. It's the exact same thing. There's the purest of souls. They, like I said, they look to us for the guidance, and if we don't guide them or show them the right kind of ways to be, then they're obviously going to turn the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Or kick off in different ways. So I mean, it's all down to the pressures and stuff like that you put into them into. So it's guiding them in the right direction. That's what it's about. And I believe that if you structure their life in order to have a kind of well-balanced one and stuff like that, same when it comes to dietary needs and things like that also, that's a major thing when it comes to it. It's the same as ourselves. I mean,
would that be something you would offer, like, or give them guidance on?
So I'm actually studying nutrition also at the moment. So what I'm trying to do is, the reason I done it is A Dugz Life is like I was trying to encompass like a whole brand, a whole image of everything that you can have to do. with a dog under the one banner, so to speak. So that when I do go for getting like a premises and things like that, I can have like a kind of food section, like the equipment that I use and things like that, all the way down to like the kind of harnesses and collars, whatever else as well. Because I'm always trying to follow the trends in the sense of how the new tech's coming out for dogs, or how these new collars and leads, etc. Because everything changes, for the clip to the fabric they use, the stitching they use, etc. Same as the clothing, you know what it's like. We want to stay in with the brands in it and all the rest of it. Your new trainees on, you know what I mean? I see you like your dunks and stuff. That's how it is, I've always been a Max one, so it's one of them ones. But everybody.
I just like a shoe that makes me bigger. That's all it is.
Yellow pages. That's always done it, mate. A few yellow pages. Just slip them in the insoles. But I've always kind of had that, like, trying to keep your eye on the trends, keep the thing going with where it is. And I've always tried to stay ahead of it, but I don't like paying the prices with some of these things there. So there's a prime example. Julius Canine's a brand that, if you look at the actual harnesses themselves, they're really, really good, but you can buy the exact same harness just with a different Velcro patch on it for a half of the price. Do you know what I mean? And it just, why spend so much when you can? It's mental.
It's like the whole debacle about the whole supermarkets and type of thing. You know what I mean? Why would you go to this when you could go to Aldi or whatever? We're like, we might as well just go to Aldi.
I'd say it's more along the lines of this whole. See, I believe Balenciaga is an actual experiment that's been put out there to see how stupid people are with their money. I'm telling you, I genuinely do. I believe it. That's what I say.
About. Have you seen that? And it's like shoes that literally look like they've like, it's like puddle water over them. It's like, I don't know if it's shoes. It's something in particular, and it's like
It's like a pair of socks.
It's like in the bobbin cut or whatever. You're like, I could have just did that myself. Like,
I could have wore them and, ripped them up on a building site or something, and then went, oh, here, mate, you know what I mean? Or a pair of plasterers trousers and slapped them on, and that's what people are using nowadays. But it's crazy, do you know what I mean? It is, it's mad. But I've always seen that if I can get the same product cheaper elsewhere, go for that. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
It's still doing the trick, still doing the job,
exactly.
Which is what matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And
Lovely,
the same, mate. That's why I done it with the business as well. I've made the business this way so that obviously I can keep my overheads as low as I can. I mean, it's just me, my solo kind of trader in that sense. So everything's as low as I can for the client. So I roll over the better cost to them. So,
and benefiting you.
Absolutely.
Good, mate.
Benefiting them. The way I look at it is, if I can stop any animal from getting put down or put into a kennel or even getting rehomed, then I've done a good job.
You've done your job.
Aye.
No, I love that, mate.
Well.
I love that.
I can sleep well knowing that I've done something well in that day. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
No, good on you, mate. I think that's phenomenal to hear. Absolutely phenomenal. Stephen, mate, I've absolutely loved this chat. It's been brilliant, mate. Lovely just sitting back and listening to you, and he's such a character as well, mate. That's that Glasgow character.
Oh, I'm a bit of a character. I've been told that. I've been called worse as well, but hey ho.
So, kind of wrap up the podcast then.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us your socials and things so that anybody listening and maybe could use the service can find you?
So if you're wanting to get me, you can get me on Facebook or Instagram at A Dugz Life, basically. My website's still getting built at the moment. That's a process that's been slowly ongoing. Like I said, I tell you previously,
take time, mate.
Well, the partner's building it, so it is and she's just fell pregnant, so it's been one of the ones that is very, very slow in building. It's getting there. It's a slow process, but we're getting there, mate.
Good, mate. Good. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It'll be good.
Yep.
Watch your space, guys.
Watch your space. Watch your space. A Dugz Life. Sorry, A Dugz Life. I said I know. I thought that a Bug's Life there. My fault. So guys, thank you very much for. No, please don't sue me, Disney. Listen, thank you very much for coming along, Stephen, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. And anybody listening to this, if you're on Spotify or even watching us on YouTube, feel free to drop us a wee like, subscribe, and let us know. We'll ask a question for the listeners. What's your favourite type of dog? What's your favourite breed of dog? Even I said type breed. Man. It's not a Pokemon. What is it? What breed is it?
Are
you going to give yours? Sorry.
Mine. I'll give you mine. Mine's would be a Huskies. I'll say the Huskies. By far, every way.
I just like the wee small fluffy ones.
So you'd rather a Pomsky or something then?
Wee Maltipoo. Is that a Maltipoo? Something like that. Wee tiny
thing. They grow bigger, but
our friends get one, and I'm trying to steal it. The apricot. I said it. Lisa, if you're listening.
Wait, but yourself, what's yours? Dachshund's yours was, wasn't it? Dachshunds, aye.
Rebecca likes a dachshund.
Oh, aye.
There we go. It's a holiday, could be. Listen, thanks very much for listening, folks, and we'll see you again in the next episode. Thanks very much. Take care.